So a little while back, we learned that the SCP Foundation has a couple of extensions, like some from Italy, some from Japan. I think this one's in Japan because Keteru Yamiko, which is SCP-835-JP, is labeled with a JP afterwards, kind of like the Italian one that we reacted to a little while back from Dr. Bob. So I'm not really versed in a bunch of these SCP extensions, I should say, but this one looks really, really cool, and it's by SCP Animated Tales from the Foundation. Hope Dr. Buck is in this one too. Probably my favorite character of the series. Anyway, guys, make sure to subscribe to their channel and mine if you like reaction videos, and let's get into this this animation. SCP-835-JP, Keteru Yamiko. I hope I said that correct.
SCP Foundation, Site 18, the dead of night. A lonely Foundation scientist makes his way to his office to leave for the day.
Okay,
little does he know that tonight he will cross paths with what was a most deadly SCP, able to teleport from dark corner to dark corner like a deadly whisper.
Oh, and she giggles, bruh. She giggles. No, with a knife. Straight up murderer.
All that was left in her wake was blood. Hello, I am Dr. Buck, and today we will be reviewing SCP-835-JP, otherwise known as Keteru Yamiko. Initially identified as a Keter, SCP-835-JP is now classified as, well, we'll get into that later in this presentation.
Special containment procedures.
Due to its nature, containment of SCP-835-JP is currently impossible. In the event of a suspicious death of a Foundation employee allegedly involved with this object, Mobile Task Force Q3 Bonfire is to cordon off the crime scene and investigate. It is recommended that the deaths be disguised as unrelated incidents whenever possible, with consideration for the morale impact on surrounding personnel.
There's a murder among us that nobody can see or capture.
SCP-835-JP is often described as a teenaged girl named Keteru Yamiko that possesses long black hair and wears black school uniforms. On some occasions, the description of her age and appearance may increase or decrease by about 10 years.
Interesting.
Keteru Yamiko is almost universally characterized as attractive. Her emotional state is often portrayed as melancholic due to her taciturnity. She avoids being seen at all costs, hiding in the shadows. Keteru Yamiko can teleport from one dark area to another, regardless of distance or obstructions. She utilizes this ability to approach, attack, and kill targets quickly with a large kitchen knife in her possession. She is also said to have the ability to control darkness at will, engulfing objects and making them disappear, although the principle behind this is unknown. Due to her abilities, she was kidnapped and raised as an assassin by a group of interests that is hostile to the Foundation, and it is believed that this is how her current personality was formed.
Got you.
SCP-835-JP was originally a phenomenon that occurred only to the Foundation personnel, first identified in 1995. The phenomenon occurs in a cycle of about 1 to 3 months. The subjects who encounter it disappear in a matter of seconds, usually with a large amount of blood left behind. No subject, dead or alive, has ever been rediscovered. Investigations have confirmed the subjects were fatally injured prior to their disappearance. There are no significant common features of SCP-835-JP in terms of subject, time, or location, except that the victim is invariably a Foundation employee, and the scene is in a dark place with poor visibility. Occurrence has been confirmed in alleys at night, dimly lit stairwells, photo labs, shadows under desks, etc. Due to its unpredictability, suddenness, and the fact that the victims disappear without exception, no experimental observations of this phenomenon have been successful, and the details remain unknown to date. Based on the limited information obtained from the testimonies of witnesses who were present at the scene, as well as surveillance video footage, it is also known that the victims acted as if they were being attacked by some imperceptible entity. However, the existence of the attacker has never been corroborated.
So they can't actually see them when they get attacked? Incident 835.
Several years later, a booklet with a hand-drawn anime-style girl titled Artist's Impression of SCP-835-JP was found on the desk of Research Assistant Edwards.
Okay.
After reviewing the contents of the booklet on the spot, it was discovered that the character in question had been given the name Keteru Yamiko, along with a set of attributes such as personality, origins, and abilities. The booklet was submitted to head researcher Ken on the same day. This led to the following conversation.
So is this perceived or
What made you create
invented?
Keteru Yamiko in association with SCP-835-JP?
Boredom, I guess? I don't have much to do except wait for the machines to process the data. Lots of downtime here.
Poor guy.
How very diligent. But you didn't answer my question.
Listen, I know it sounds stupid, but waiting for data to come in on some murder monster, I don't know. Sometimes it just helps to think of these things as a bit more normal.
Glamorous?
You
Oh.
And normal to
Oh,
you is an
I
anime
see.
schoolgirl with a knife?
Compared to most of the things
know?
here in the Foundation,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say so.
Is this character,
an anime
Keteru
fan.
Yamiko, based on a previously established intellectual property? Perhaps an anime series or manga?
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of taken from several. It's a bit of a cliche, right?
Right.
Killer schoolgirl,
It is quite
black hair,
cliche.
huge knife.
Right.
And drawing this fictionalized version of SCP-835-JP helps you cope with its existence?
It's something I can imagine at least.
All right.
Otherwise, it could be anything.
That makes a lot of sense.
Better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
Interesting. I see here that you even wrote
That's
a
a cool saying.
backstory for it. You do know this could potentially cause a memetic hazard? Our research into SCP-835-JP has been spotty at best.
Really?
I was just goofing around. I don't really see what the big deal is.
Several
He's writing
SCPs
fan
are
fiction.
affected or even manifested by our collective perception of them. In these cases, fiction and reality are constantly intertwined. If word of this Keteru Yamiko gets out, who knows what could happen.
I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
Dr. Buck's so serious, bruh. But she's got a point. I suppose if you're gonna be fussed, it could be the Dr. Buck would be.
Since Incident
like,
835, the
kinda
phenomenon
scared that was
continued
hot.
to stay inactive, defying its previous 1 to 3 month attack pattern. Due to this prolonged inactivity, it was speculated that the anomaly was influenced by the perceptions of the Foundation personnel. Dr. Sanders recommended and received approval to implement Protocol Idol 835, with the
Okay.
goal of embedding a shared perception of SCP-835-JP in the Foundation personnel.
Was it?
The Foundation
influenced by
opted to
the
continue
drawings
using
and the
Research
stuff?
Assistant Edwards'
Aha!
character, Keteru Yamiko, as basis for Protocol Idol 835,
That is really,
which
really
was already
cool.
acknowledged by a significant number of personnel and proven to be at least somewhat effective at warding after SCP-835-JP.
He did
The
the
importance
groundwork.
of smooth and
They just
immediate
adopted it.
transmission of
Interesting.
information was pivotal. Its components were as follows. Firstly, all documents and information referring to SCP-835-JP were revised to make it easier for the viewers to associate them with Keteru Yamiko, by
Sure.
including a detailed setting and replacing the object's designation number with a unique name. In addition, as part of a publicity campaign for staff, a large number of public relations
staff.
magazines, supplies, common items printed with the character visual of Keteru Yamiko, which was designed by the Foundation illustrators, were widely disseminated at the facilities.
So it's propaganda.
Fictional novels, manga, animations with Keteru Yamiko as the main character were produced in sequence, and their viewing was recommended.
Very
Through these
cool.
efforts, the Foundation has succeeded in making all personnel share the recognition of SCP-835-JP Keteru Yamiko
So now
in a
it
matter of months,
manifests
and no activation of
like
the
that.
object has been reported since. Although these publicity
Oh.
campaigns are currently being scaled down, items featuring Keteru Yamiko remain in various facilities in order to maintain a certain level
The
of
knife.
recognition. And the Foundation
so cool,
regularly
man.
organizes creative sessions based on the theme of Keteru Yamiko. The last known sighting of
because the sighting is
SCP-835
getting
occurred at Site
attention,
18, a small outpost
doesn't
in the
really
Pacific Ocean. In
manifest
accordance
as
with
much.
set standard operating procedures, Foundation personnel were sent out to manage the Site 18's reaction to the death.
Okay. Site 18 witness interview number 1.
Can you describe your experience with Keteru Yamiko?
Well, I've been briefed on 835, Keteru before. I know of the comics or whatever, but I never paid them much mind.
Sure.
Those sessions are extremely important. Only by actively participating in them are we to eradicate this menace.
I know, but I never thought she would show up here of all places.
So
neither did Dr. Nelson, to be honest.
Ignored
Let's start at the beginning.
these sessions, so
Now,
it
according
manifested.
to our data, Dr. Nelson entered the security hallway at 2135 to leave for the night. Is this correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I watch every person come and leave. We waved at each other, like we always do. Or did.
Then what happened?
The lights started to flicker.
Mhm.
The wiring in Site 18 has always been spotty. We joked that instead of fixing it, they just classify it an SCP.
Oh,
Please try to stick to the events leading up to the attack.
Right, sorry, Doctor. Anyway, he walked out of my view. I watched him on my monitor as he was about to exit. Then he saw something in the shadows and stopped.
What was it?
It was hard to tell, but he was staring right at it. It was like something was bubbling in the shadows. Then
Okay.
suddenly, I saw her.
Keteru Yamiko.
mhm.
Yeah, it was like an optical illusion. She just popped into focus,
Right.
but she wasn't like what she was in the manga. She looked tired.
What do you mean? Did she
Weird.
look old?
No, not old. She looked like she was on autopilot. Anybody who has read the manga always said she was this big goofball.
Well, really, she's
Weird.
only like that in the training videos. In the manga, she's got a reason to be so goofy. See, she has a... I'm sorry.
She
That's
knows all
not
about it.
important. What happened after she appeared?
The camera feed cut out. When it came back, Dr. Nelson was gone. Keteru Yamiko was alone, standing in whatever was left of him.
Oh
It was
god.
creepy. She just faded away after that.
Now, this Dr. Nelson. I
Is she
assume he
being
was briefed
controlled
on
by
Keteru
something
Yamiko?
or something?
Surely he had participated in some of her related events. He was a level 3 after all.
Yeah, he was the guy that organized them. He was a big fan of the whole thing. He
Right.
even had a special pop of her made for his desk.
Weird.
Said it was for training purposes.
That should be in his personal effects. Why do you think she came after him?
How would I know? Aren't you supposed to be the expert?
Well, you knew, Dr. Nelson. Why would she single him out?
I don't know. Maybe she was visiting her biggest fan or something.
Is
That
there
doesn't sound
anything
right.
else you would like to add?
I don't think you'll be seeing her again. There was something about the way she looked that makes me think she's done with being what we've made her into.
Noted. But the videotape we recovered has no appearance of her.
Typical.
Right.
I know what I saw, though.
And I believe you. We must always stay vigilant for Keteru Yamiko.
Weird, man. Very weird. Conclusion. Thank you. Wrap it up for us because I'm a little confused.
SCP-835-JP is probably a manifestation of the instinctive fear that something threatening oneself may be lurking in the darkness. But the imaginary monster we once feared has now been reduced to a cliched character with Protocol Idol 835.
SCP-835-JP Keteru
Interesting.
Yamiko has been neutralized by Protocol Idol 835.
Wow.
The possibility of strengthening containment by expanding the scope of the protocol outside the Foundation is currently being studied in order to
So
prepare for potential
publicizing it.
containment breaches that could result from a major cognitohazard or similar incidents within the Foundation.
Right.
While Keteru Yamiko is designated safe, we are still unsure about how she manifested in the first place.
Right.
Further research into the phenomena of SCP-835-JP has stalled, as no new data has presented itself. Armed with the knowledge from this presentation, we hope that you will continue to think of SCP-835-JP as just Keteru Yamiko.
Yeah. You know, this was a fascinating look at containment. Think about your worst fears and then trivializing it on a wide scale level to where everybody just knew that it was something glamorous, you know, or something just played up and silly. They turned this murderous force, this entity, into something that was literally like fanfic, you know, and it just kind of went away. That's so weird, dude. So weird, but very, very interesting. Hey guys, SCP Animated Tales from the Foundation. Make sure to subscribe to them. A couple other videos that I think you'll love. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. Hey, we'll see you next time.